I'm not that interesting.
No, you're not. Okay. Neither am I. Neither am I.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
First episode.
Too late for therapy.
Much
too late for therapy. Is the name of this program, sponsored by viewers like you. And I have BB as my first guest today. And BB is a school teacher, a comedian, and on again, off again, bodybuilder.
Off again
Off again. So, how you doing today, BB?
I'm doing pretty well today, actually.
Good,
yeah. Got a nice little coffee going. Dude, how about you? How are you?
I'm okay. I'm having a bad hair day. It's too long, so it won't stay in place, and it's like a rooster that thinks he's a raven.
Yeah.
At the moment is how I feel my hair is right now.
Yeah. Maybe we should cut it.
Maybe. I could do like a man bun, but then it looks kind of. Let's see how that looks. That's good?
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Okay. I look like I'm going to yoga to just look at women.
That's exactly what that looks like.
Yeah.
You look like your name is Tristan.
Oh, yeah. I know a DJ named Tristan. That's his DJ name. His real name's something else, I think. He's an alright guy. I don't know. He's like a key community goth scene.
What's that like? What's the goth scene like?
It's like a lot of women that don't want to talk to you. It's like any other scene. No, it's interesting. It's theatrical in a sense, but without any acting. It's like the less you talk, the cooler you are.
Mm.
So it's good for people that are really depressed and like don't want to talk. And then if you're colorblind, it's good because you just wear black all the time, which I am. Colorblindness is a serious issue, BB. It's not a laughing matter.
Sorry,
Yeah,
so depressing.
So sad.
Colorblindness.
So sad.
Can you tell what color I am?
Oh, you are completely white. Come on now. That's clear as day. But yeah, so we're talking about social media is kind of contributing to people's narcissism these days, but it's like a...
Well, let me ask you a question. What do you use social media for?
Promotion, stalking.
Promotion of what?
Like comedy shows or like teaching martial arts. If I'm like doing that, it's not COVID time, you know?
Yeah.
Mostly stalking.
What is stalking?
Like, not like wearing stockings, but like, you know, what's that person up to? You know, who's talking shit?
Yeah.
I don't know. You ever get like hate mail for no reason?
All the time.
What's like the worst hate mail you've gotten?
This week, actually, I was told that because I am a masculine woman, only gay men like me. So that's why none of my relationships are working out.
I don't think that's the reason.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say, like, there's other reasons why relationships don't work out. And it's because your standards are probably askew and contradicting. And then your like subconscious doesn't want you to be in a relationship, but you're trying anyways.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
So that was just what happened this week, okay? This week it was just someone messaged me and was like, hey, I think the reason that you're single is because like you're too masculine for most men. So the only kind of guys that like masculine women are gay or closet.
Was this a gay man?
This was a straight person.
So he's got like little Napoleon syndrome. He's probably skinny. He's probably skinnier than I am. Like that's probably what that is. He's probably just like threatened that you actually have muscle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for him it's like, let me put her down a peg to feel better about myself.
Yeah, what do they call that? Gaslighting?
Yeah, I mean gaslighting is a little bit different because gaslighting comes back with a compliment. Gaslighting is like, I hurt you because I love you. So it's like that attack and like positivity simultaneously, or like where someone's so negative and like non-appreciative of you that if they say thank you for anything, it's like a huge deal. If they say good job for like anything at all, you're like, oh my god, thank you so much. Oh my god.
What's the worst thing somebody's ever DM'd you?
It was more so annoying. It was like this local person that was hitting me up to confront me on something I said and take it out of context to a degree. Hey, I heard you talking shit, but through Facebook. And I was like, bro, we see each other like all the time. You could just come up to me and talk to me. And
yeah, you're not scary.
Yeah.
Despite the what you got going on here.
Yeah, just like I'm pretty approachable, even though like I'm different looking. And for the most part, I think most of the comics like me locally. I think I could be wrong. They could be faking it. I mean, you never know. But
I can't stand you.
Right. That's why you're my guest, right? That's why you're here. He messaged me like a bunch of insults that I felt weren't warranted or deserved. And
were they insults based on like your character or like your physical appearance?
It was like, no, what was weird is he like complimented me a lot. He was like trying to gaslight. He was like, you have like great style, you're very attractive.
I remember this. You showed me this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he was like, but you're a narcissist. And like you're not as big as I thought you were in the comedy scene. Like,
is that why you changed
potential? And like,
is that why you changed your name to Narcissistic?
I just think that's funny because it's like my own name, right? But it's like a double entendre in a sense because it's like my name and the word narcissistic, but it's my name, so it's like double narcissistic.
Yeah.
It got to a point where I was like, look, I'm too busy arguing with people I love to even talk to you. So if you could just fuck off, that'd be great. And then I blocked him. And then he hit me up on Instagram, like, and said some other nasty shit on top of what, like, oh, one more thing, blah, blah. It sounded like something like a high schooler would say to an ex-girlfriend, like, after he was, like, salty as shit. And I blocked him on there, too. And later on down the road, I tried to take the high road and apologize. And his response, just basically to like just clear the air. I tried to take the high road and be like, hey, like we said some shit to each other that was like uncool. Sorry that happened. Yeah. And then the response was like, oh no, too little, too late. Like nice try. Like, okay, asshole. Like never mind. Like go fuck yourself. We'll just be awkward around each other when we run into each other.
Who is this guy?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Is
he a comedian?
Define
comedian. So no. Yeah.
I mean, do they do comedy? Yes, but do they tell jokes?
Oh, I see.
One person once stated it as are you going to do any jokes? Or just very long sentences? Several long sentences. So that was...
What's the best thing somebody ever DM'd you?
Like the nicest thing?
Yeah.
Like nudes are cool. That's pretty cool.
Mine's always just like really genuine compliments, and people are like, "Oh my god, you really inspire me to do X, Y, and Z." Like those are always my favorite ones.
But do you see a follow through?
Like, do they get inspired and actually do stuff?
Right.
That's a good question. Maybe a little.
Okay.
I'm not stalking their shit, so I don't know. But
we have different usages for social media.
I think it is becoming a problem now. And like we were talking about how people literally just look at their highlight reel and assume that that's who they are. And they forget the reality of themselves. Which is like, actually you're not that interesting. You're not that funny.
Yeah.
Which is okay. Like that's the thing is like, I think what it boils down to is like finding people in your life who you're okay with being not that great with. Like we all know it. We all know we suck. So it's like, you just have to own it and be like, you know what? I have good aspects and I have bad aspects, and I think people forget that.
Right. So tell me about that hot air balloon story.
Yeah. So when people are exposed to information, for example, this experiment was done where researchers had two different groups. One group looked at pictures of themselves just doing nothing, and the other group was people looking at pictures of themselves in a hot air balloon. They had never been on a hot air balloon, but they went in the hot air balloon in the picture. So it was like them being like, "Ooh, I've had this awesome trip," and whatever. So anyways, the group took a look at that picture over and over again, and then at the end of the experiment, they wanted to see who actually believed that they went in a hot air balloon, and it was 50% of the people in the study actually thought they went in a hot air balloon, but it never happened.
Yeah.
And this has been done multiple times. Like they were able to plant memories of people getting attacked by dogs or being pregnant and having the baby slashed out of their stomach. And it never happened. There's no physical scars of it or anything. And the researcher, the psychologist that studies this, she got in like big trouble because
she's like, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
She just got in trouble because she was like, okay, if these false memories are a thing, people can actually create memories. She started asking questions about girls that were raped and saying, are these real memories or is this something that was made up?
Gotcha.
And it's not like they're lying, you know, these
Right.
people don't think they're lying. They just have a memory they created that they believe.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's studies that, like the old studies in the past in psychology were like, let's talk about your trauma and get to the root of it, and then it'll be better. But what would happen is a lot of people would actually talk about things that were kind of bad, but then they would like like the bitter situation of what happened in their mind, and it would grow into something worse and worse and worse, and they'd create memories that never happened. And so yeah, what that lady got in trouble for was kind of like a mind manipulation factor, or was it just
that she was questioning women who claimed to be raped?
Right.
So it was like this big thing, like you can't do that, you know, you believe her kind of thing.
Right,
so she was like, well, I'm a scientist. We ask questions. That's what we do.
I'm trying to get to the bottom of this theory that I'm working on to see.
Right.
Yeah.
So
which is weird. This is a woman too. So it's a woman trying to study this, and they're like, "Hey, woman, you can't do that. Women have rights."
She's like, "I'm a literal scientist.
I'm a scientific woman." And they're like, "Whatever, scientist. You're just a scientist. Why don't you go make more Africanized bees and release them to the world?"
Exactly. So she's, I guess, doing research now, or maybe this is old news. Who knows? But she was talking about how if you can plant these horrible memories, like the dog attack or whatever, can you plant good ones to make people maybe improve their lives or improve their memories that way? That way, instead of thinking about your memory of like a shitty situation in a bad way, you can change it with a false memory, and that way you don't have that like pain of the memory anymore. So I think that's interesting. You know, if you can manipulate your memories into a better life, I say do it.
Right. I mean, the thing is, apparently our minds remember bad things more, and it dates back to our like caveman ancestors because survival was so difficult that you had to very much only remember the negative stuff. This is Mr. Gibbs. He's my roommate's cat, and he has a donut on his neck because he's unfortunately a self-harmer. He's like an emo cat, which is fitting for my household, I think. But he's like the best cat ever. Oh my god, look at his little mustache. Oh my god.
He's so little too.
Yeah, he's a tiny little cat.
Yeah. So what psych experiments are you familiar with?
Not as many as you would think. I don't know. If you know any you want to talk about.
There's so many they're all interesting.
What comes to mind?
Off the top of my head, the facial expressions one, I always think of that one. So basically an unethical experiment, they had people draw lines on their faces, and then they presented them with different things to see if they were scared or angry or disgusted or whatever. And at the end of the experiment, they asked people to cut off the head of a bat.
Whoa.
And if they weren't willing to do it, they would do it in front of them.
Whoa.
And see how their face would react. And the results were nothing. Basically, that we just all have the same facial expressions all around the world. And so a bunch of these bats were killed.
That's weird.
But there's a lot of really good ones, like the obedience study and the conformity study. The obedience one was done by a guy who was studying Nazis. He was like, I want to know, were these people really horrible people, or were they just following orders?
Right.
So an experiment was done to have just an average person off the street deliver shocks to another person. They thought they were delivering the shocks. They weren't really. They were like, yeah, just keep giving the shocks to these people. And like 60% of the time, people would just do it to the point where they might kill someone.
Whoa.
And they'd say like, hey, I don't think the guy sounds like he's really in a lot of pain. And they'd be like, you have to keep going. You must keep going.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. Like, people are just so weak that they're like, oh yeah, do that. Sounds great.
Well, like, it's kind of the, I don't know, at least in America and other cultures as well, is you're not really taught to rebel. You're taught to basically do what you're told. And you're kind of, I don't know, I try to question things, but you got to word things right, especially in like corporate America. You know, if you're like questioning anything, it has to be like, well, let me ask you this, where's the problem with this way? And then they're like, oh, you're right, there's not a problem there at all. Or like, if they're like, hey, you're doing this wrong. And it's like, how is that wrong? And then they have to think about it and realize that so you can't say to them, actually, this is right, and I'll tell you why. You have to literally ask them, what am I doing wrong here? How is it? Like, where's the issue? And then from there, they're able to like look at it and try to explain where the issue is, and then realize there's no issue. Otherwise, even if you're just defending yourself, in the corporate world, oh, he's coming off aggressive and doesn't take well to criticism. It is just like, you can't fucking like communicate.
It's the ego thing, What do they say? Like, you gotta get rid of your ego if you want to grow.
Right.
And people will just cling to their ideas or cling to their beliefs even if they're wrong or they don't make sense. Mm-hmm. And that to me is a huge problem today, like big problem.
Just ego, like...
Yeah, just people having these beliefs or thinking these things, and they won't even entertain any other ideas. Like, not even a chance to entertain another idea, because I think once people's beliefs are shattered, it's like, well, who am I? I don't even know what I am anymore. So I think people need to get out of that and just start questioning everything. Just like, I don't know, am I right? I don't know, am I wrong?
Right.
I don't know. And I think that's why we get along.
Yeah, we have like very different views on a lot of different stuff, and we're obviously different people, but we're open-minded to different schools of thought, in a sense, or like opinions. Yeah. It's like, oh, they have that opinion, I don't agree with it, and I don't think it's right, but whatever, they don't think I'm right either. What's the point of arguing it? And it's not like our...
Who's Joanne?
That's my mom. That's my mom. Sorry. But yeah, she gave me this laptop. She was like, well, the thing about her that's crazy is she'll like, instead of getting something fixed or like troubleshooting anything, just buy a new product. Like she has like, those like self-vacuuming things that go around?
Roombas?
Yeah. She has like 3 of those because one of them will stop working. And instead of like checking to see if something needs replacement or anything of that nature, she'll just buy another one, and then it turns out the other one just wasn't charged or something like that.
Just needed a new battery.
Yeah, so she basically has like 6 laptops. I was like, hey, are you using this Mac? And she's like, no, I have a new one. And it's like, well, what's wrong with this one? She's like, I don't know, it won't turn on. And it's like, did you charge it? She's like, what do you mean? Like that they just... And I was like, you plug it in here and you charge it. And yeah, so I got a free Mac because my mom is not the best with technology.
Yeah, that's funny.
But she's super intelligent. She has like a master's degree. She's just kind of illiterate to technology from time to time.
I think that's most people of that generation.
Yeah.
They just kind of give up. Like, it's too much.
Yeah.
My mom had a flip phone for like ever. And she finally got an iPhone, and she was like, she had panic attacks using it. Like, she was so scared.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? It's a phone.
Right.
Like, you're going to be okay. What's she doing?
I miss buttons on phones.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
I miss the flip.
Oh, yeah, angry flip?
Angry
flip. Yeah, fucking done.
Don't call me again.
Don't call me. Flip the phone. Oh, yeah, those old phones where you, like, hang them up and you hear the bell? No.
What kind of phone did you guys have when you were growing up? I still see our house phone in my head.
Well, we, like, we went through several phones. We had the crappy one that just basically... was like, the basic buttons, no redial, nothing on it.
Mm-hmm.
We did have like, the cordless phone. You had to like charge it. It was like always
missing.
Yeah, it was missing or dead always. And then,
can you imagine that today if people didn't actually know where the phone was 24/7? Like, who has the phone?
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, I know where it is. It's like up my ass 24/7.
Yeah. It's just giving me cancer on my legs like all the time, always. Yeah.
I remember we had one phone that with like the really long, obnoxiously long cord.
Yeah,
the one that had on the wall.
Yeah. It was like something you could kidnap someone with that. You could tie them up and like hold them ransom. Yeah. Yeah.
And we'd always like, my mom would be talking to her girlfriends and we'd like, get all like,
just walking around, just tying people up outside. Yeah.
Just move, you're in a, get out of the way, can't you see I'm on the phone?
Yeah.
That was good stuff. I also remember we had a computer room. Like,
and you remember your name?
Oh my god, it was so dumb.
What was it?
School Bus BB.
School Bus BB?
I don't even know why. Yeah. I don't even have a clue.
Was it like School Bus?
I think I was making a screen name and I was just looking at the closest thing to me and I was like, okay, yeah, so it's gonna be like, I didn't put any thought into it. None whatsoever. And I was like, that sounds good. And everyone was like, what does that even mean? I'm like, I don't know. And then I switched it to Fishy 1313.
Yeah, 13, keep it spooky.
Yeah, be a little dark.
So edgy. Yeah, mine was Kung Fu Fiend 13. Kung Fu Fiend 13, which is, that's me.
Did you switch it to something else?
No, it was always that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you get a lot of girls talking to you on AIM?
I had a girlfriend in California who I never met. But dude, we were like,
it was probably the best relationship you ever had.
No, it was pretty horrible.
Oh.
But like, she was like a hot goth punk chick, and like we almost met. But
did she have the bangs?
She wasn't emo. She was like goth punk.
I don't know the difference.
There's a subtle difference. So goth punk is like strong, and then emo is just like whiny bitchy. So not like as women are concerned, but just as a whole. Yeah. And
so
then,
where do the bangs fit in? What's goth bangs versus...
Goth bangs are like the Betty Page bangs. They go here.
Okay.
And then emo bangs go to the side.
I had the swept bangs.
You had to. Like 2000, 2004, 2003, you had to. If you were a girl, it was like a requirement.
It was.
Yeah.
I cut them myself.
Could you send me a pic of that? And I could like do like a zoom in while we're talking about it? That'd be awesome.
I'll see if I can find one.
Okay.
I just remember always having the swept bangs. And I didn't have dark hair. I've always had blonde hair my whole life, so I don't know.
Did you have the poof in the back?
No, never the poof.
Okay.
But I do remember Crazy Hair Day was my favorite day of the school year because I would do a mohawk, I would do random shit, and it was always on point.
That's good.
I'm like, what happened to me? I used to be fun.
It's just depression.
Yeah.
Like adulthood is like a soul crusher.
Yeah, like it's almost like you forget the things that used to like make you happy, like just dumb shit, like doing my hair crazy.
Yeah,
you're still doing it though.
Right. I gotta get attention somehow.
You're getting that serotonin release.
Yeah. Well, what I like is when you're in Arizona and you're dressed like a punk rocker, right? Or like gothic and have like a mohawk going, it's like you're pranking everyone that doesn't like that look. Like everyone that...
Yeah, do people looking weird?
Okay, so a recent story. I was at like Winco, and so it's like a grocery store, right? And it was right around New Year's. It was New Year's Eve actually. And I bought like some alcohol. And I had my face mask on, and I had like my boots that make me like Big Bird status, and my mohawk up, and leather jacket. So like I looked like a younger person to a degree. But when I was checking out the self-checkout line, I showed the lady my ID. I was like an adult about it, like very just had my shit together. Yeah. And she was like, "I need to see the IDs of everyone you came in with." And I was like, "What? I'm like 30, bitch. I'm like here by myself." Like she was like, "Well, we have security cameras."
What kind of alcohol were you buying?
Just champagne.
Oh,
yeah. It wasn't like I was buying like Jägermeister or like Jack Daniels or something. You know?
I was thinking you were buying like a 30-pack.
Yeah, right. Like Keystone Light or something.
Natty Light.
Yeah. I was buying some champagne, and I had like other food items with it, like dip, where it's like obviously an adult party that you're going to.
Right.
And after she like said, "We have security cameras," I was like, "Excuse me, what?" And she like just disappeared. She like walked away really swiftly, and I was like, "Where the fuck did she go?" She like ran away before I could be like, "Yo, like I'm an adult, and let me speak to your manager right now because this shit is unacceptable." And like, but
discrimination.
Discrimination. But like I don't know what discrimination is really. Like I don't.
You want to know the definition of it?
I mean, I don't know the definition, but like real discrimination, like. Every job interview I've ever been to, except for like one, I got the job like immediately. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to go into that. That's a whole different subject. I don't really want to
just think, me too. I do think, though, if you are being treated differently and based on how you look, that's discrimination.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
I was pretty offended. It takes a lot to offend me. But what I do like about it is...
maybe you could have taken it as a compliment and been like, she thinks I'm really young.
Yeah, it could be a mindset thing, but also she was like a bitch about it. So it wasn't like a compliment. It wasn't like, "Hey, youngster, like you need to like get your friends around it because I know you're buying them alcohol." It was like very like vindictive and vicious, and like I don't like my life because I'm 50 and I work at a grocery store, and like I don't want you to have fun with your friends because you're a teenager or something. But I wasn't. It was like, bitch, I'm 30. Look at my ID.
I do think there's like what's the word? Like a stigma that comes with the look. But any gothic people I've ever met have just been like the nicest people and like good people. Never like messy, never like
heroin addicts.
Yeah, no, they're usually not.
The
heroin addicts are like the ones that you were like, do you need clothes?
Yeah, it takes a lot of energy to be goth.
Yeah.
It's like a big...
people that are high don't have time to be spending their hair for hours.
You can't do this if you're doing this. You can't spike your hair up. Just fall asleep with a hairspray. It's not out, yeah. Okay, coping mechanisms. What coping mechanisms do you have that are healthy in your opinion that you use when you're not feeling your best self?
So I for me, I don't know if I have a lot of healthy ones. I mean, working out for me is always one, and yoga and hiking and all that stuff. But what I've kind of come to find is that like I don't even know if that's healthy anymore. You know, when I'm in my best shape, I am at my worst mental state.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you? Is it like you're judging yourself more so from trying to make gains, or?
I just think when I'm down, I just think, okay, what's the first thing that I go to feel better about myself? Get skinny.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm in a horrible mental state. How do I get control of my life again? And it's like, I'm going to not eat. I'm going to work out 16 times a week. I'm going to do all these things. So like, I know it sounds kind of drama to say this, but like the better shape I'm in, the worse mindset I'm at. Yeah. And that's not the same for everyone. Like some people are like, oh, I just gain a bunch of weight if I'm in a bad place. But for me, like right now, I'm like, I haven't felt this good in a long time. So I'm not as skinny as I usually am. Yeah. But I don't care because I'm like, I know that I'm actually mentally okay right now. But yeah, his ass is literally.
Oh. We'll make sure to be on that camera then. There's too many puns I can make off that, but I won't.
They're cheap.
Yeah, it's low-hanging fruit. Low-bearing fruit. Try to speak to someone that I know isn't going to be mean to me. You know what I mean? Because like, if you're like in a bad mental state and then you call up a relative that like is 50-50 chance going to be mean to you or 50-50 chance going to be nice to you, like don't call that person is what I think. I'm like, don't talk to them right now. If they call you, like let them know that you're not in a spot to talk at the moment, and then maybe talk to one of your good friends that understands where you're at and wants to talk to you about you and not something they might want, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But
what else? What else do you do to deal with that? Are you getting in the gym lately or no?
I don't go to the gym at all because COVID.
Oh.
I'm not brave enough to be like, whatever, they clean the machines, like let's just go risk it.
I do. Yeah. Self-harm is going to the gym now.
Oh yeah. Just kill me slowly. I'm partially self-homicidal.
Yeah. But that's something that I feel like millennials have like, just like, they don't care.
Romanticized?
Yeah.
We can talk about it. That's fine. Just kind of keep it classy.
Yeah. I just see a lot of people who are like, you know, I'd rather be dead. You know what I mean? Or even the other day I posted something that was like dating.
Kurt Cobain's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. That makes me so sad. And I just think like a lot of millennials think they're so dark and they're like, I'd rather be dead. And it's like COVID happens. They're like, hey, we're get inside. Oh, yeah. Wear your mask. So whatever do it. It's like, what happened to that girl 5 minutes ago that was like, oh, I'd rather get murdered by the next date I go on.
David Case had a joke about that. I don't know if it was a post or a joke, but David Case was talking about like, oh, all you comedians with your dark humor and you want to die, walking around with your mask on, you bunch of hypocritical pussies. And it was just like, with his bitterness, his perfect verbiage bitterness is, I don't know, always on point.
But it's kind of true. Like, I was like, am I the only real dark person around here? I mean, you look at me, you never know, but I'm like, if it happens, it happens. Right. If I die of COVID, I die of COVID. And I know everyone's like, well, you won't have to.
If it's not time to go, it's not time to go.
I know.
One of those people.
I am one of those people. Yeah. Why is it so bad?
Because you're not thinking about the fact that you could get it and survive it. But if you get it, you give it to somebody else.
But how can I give it to someone else if that person is so worried about it that they should just stay home, right? Why? When I go out in public, I know I'm knowingly subjecting myself. Mm-hmm. If somebody else goes out in public, they are knowingly subjecting themselves. So unless they just stay home 24/7, that's really the only way to be safe, right? And it's not even 100% chance of you not getting it. Like I had a friend who didn't even leave the house and he got COVID. I've been out.
You know, by somebody that went out and was like, I'm just going to live my life. And then they went to his house and they gave him COVID. So that person was staying inside being safe.
Well, why is that person letting anyone in their house if they're that worried?
Because they trust them.
Okay, that was the first thing I did wrong.
All right. Agree to disagree. So that's the thing.
That's fair.
That's the thing. Like, we don't have to agree on everything.
And
I disagree with that.
everybody's entitled to their own opinions
Right.
of COVID because it's like, it's just different. For me, I'm like, yeah, if I die, thank God. You know?
Goddamn time. Jesus, this took a while.
I don't know how much longer I can really do this. So for other people, it's a big deal. It's scary. And especially for people that do have like pre-existing conditions or underlying illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get it. I totally get it. I just, for me personally, don't care.
Right.
And if you do, then that's great.
Yeah, I mean,
you're normal.
My mom was like, okay, so I met my mom yesterday, and she's kind of one of the people that if you don't hang out with her when the time is available, she takes it very personally. You know, she's sensitive. She's sensitive, and not towards everybody, but especially towards me. It's like she doesn't give a fuck about what anybody else thinks, but she cares about my opinion. Mm-hmm. So if I say anything that's like not positive, it like hurts her deeply because it's like at a different scale. It's like grading on a curve type of aspect where like if I say anything that's negative, being that nobody else can verbally hurt her, she doesn't give a fuck. Yeah. But if I say anything that's like negative, it's like impactful. Yeah. So basically I was hanging out with her yesterday and she invited me over, but before she invited me over, she was like, yeah, I've been sick the last few days. I got tested for COVID like 3 days ago. And I'm like, oh, did you get the results back yet? And she's like, no. Do you want to come over? And I'm just like, okay, yeah. So, and it's like, do I get COVID or risk getting COVID? Or you just tell her like, hey, you know, maybe like I come over after you get the results and you just keep resting up and we can maybe talk on the phone or FaceTime or something for a little bit. But I didn't want to like upset her. So I'm like, all right, let's hopefully not get COVID.
Well, why don't you guys just like distance or wear your masks or something?
Because if I wear the mask, it could offend her, potentially. Yeah, she's very sensitive.
Okay.
Yeah, she's very sensitive, so
we're talking on like the side swept bangs. Is your mom?
No, she's just got like a mom haircut these days.
I mean, like figuratively.
Oh, figuratively, metaphorically speaking, sure. But just towards me. Everybody else can go fuck themselves. Yeah, she's tough. She's from.
I've met your mom. She's sweet.
She's nice, but she's like single mom, like you know, for years and years and years, and like people try to like take advantage, you know, plumbers trying to like high bill the thing.
Yeah,
she'd rip their throat out. They'd be like, you know, well, it's kind of like I'm a doctor. I have like, she's like, why is this so expensive? Like, well, you know, I have a service I provide that other people can. It's kind of like I'm a doctor. And she just, let me stop you right there. You are a fucking plumber. And like, you are in no way anywhere close to a doctor. And this price is ridiculous. Like, just chewing them out in the most like matter-of-fact way.
Yeah, that's a weird comparison or way to talk about yourself.
Especially if you're a plumber saying, yeah, you're a doctor. They're not in the same
not at all
vicinity.
I mean, I respect plumbers, don't get me wrong.
You have respect for plumbers is what you're telling me?
For sure.
Why is that?
Because I can't do anything with the pipes. I would be like, what the hell is all this?
I like Super Mario. No, plumbers, yeah, no offense to plumbers. I mean, I just have not heard that sentence or expected it.
Oh, I think it's weird.
It's a weird sentence. I respect plumbers. Thank you for your service, plumbers.
But legitimately.
Yeah, legitimately, yeah.
Like, if your toilet breaks,
who you didn't call?
Who's the one person you want to see?
Yeah.
Because I'd be over there digging around some pipes that I have no business digging around in.
No. I don't know, man.
Me either.
I don't know, man.
My question is, and this is to get edited out.
Okay.
How are you going to edit this?
Basically, just like kind of those fast cuts they do.
I think that'd be good, like only the funny segments.
Yeah. So like we're gonna have like probably 45 minutes to an hour of footage, and I'd like to dwindle it down to probably 15 minutes if possible.
Okay.
And I'll send you a cut of it before I post it.
That'd be good.
Yeah. And then anything you don't like, and anything you want to like tell me after we're done, like, hey, you said this, can you edit that out? Or like, I said this, could you edit that out? If you know, like, in your head right away what you already want out, you can just tell me.
Okay. All right, sweet.
Cool.
Okay, so let's do 2 more topics and then we're done.
Sure. That sounds like a plan.
You pick.
So you're not in a relationship at this point. So whatever.
You're so funny. Yeah, you're so funny. No, I'm I'm single. It's horrible. I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah. I understand that.
It's just been like God, how do you even say it? It's just been like a series of hot messes. And I'm not saying I wasn't a hot mess myself, like back in the day, because I was. But I'm at the point now where I'm like, I'm good. I have my life under control at this point, and I'm looking for somebody who also has that. But the problem today is these guys all think they're like the best.
Right.
And I'm like, you can't even do like step one. So let's start there. Guys will literally be like, oh, we should definitely hang out sometime. And I'm like, cool. They never ask you out.
Right.
They just say, oh, I miss you. We should totally hang out. And then there's nothing. Like, no, like, how about Friday? How about Saturday? They have no planning abilities whatsoever. They could easily just be like, do you want to have dinner? Do you want to get a drink? Do you want to get coffee? You know, and it's not happening.
So directness is the advice for the male population or anybody trying to date. It's just directness is what you're saying.
Oh, everybody's so scared. And that's the problem. Everybody's like, oh, I don't want to be the one that cares more than the other person. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, no, how about you be strong enough to say, yeah, I do care.
Right.
If you don't care about me, then you're not right for me. But I have a problem with that. Like, I'm very direct, very much like, this is how it's going to go. This is what's going on. Yeah. And I think guys are just so scared of that. Yeah. Whether it's scared of me being like that or just being like that themselves and like putting themselves out there. Because at this point, it's 2021. We've all survived the Tinder generation. And like, we've all been through something, all of us. And it's been horrible for a lot of people. I mean, what's your worst? Can you talk about your worst experience dating?
Dude. Yeah, do you want to hear about like one of the worst relationships I was in ever and like the situations I was like put into that were comical as fuck?
Yes.
Okay,
so I don't want to hear about that.
There was one where she was a Scorpio, so that's a red flag right away, right? If you believe in astrology.
You're so annoying with that right
now. Yeah, fair enough, but like...
My moons are in Jupiter, or whatever.
Yeah, okay. What I'm saying is, if you believe in astrology, like, basically a Scorpio is like a Super Saiyan psychotic, or like basically the Charizard of crazy signs.
I've dated Scorpios.
Do you find that they're crazy?
Hit or miss.
Hit or miss? Okay, fair enough. But anyway, so there's that. She had like a personality disorder. I won't get too into because it could be kind of like taken the wrong way that I'm being insensitive towards it. But she considered porn cheating, and she didn't really express that until like we were way deep into the relationship. Like, we would watch it together at the beginning of the relationship where it was like, oh, this is good, you like this? She's like, fuck yeah, I like this, and everything was peachy. But then, like, after a while, I was like, no, porn's cheating. If you do it, you're cheating on me. And, like, just, like, really psychotic stuff like that.
See? Directness. Be upfront. If we can watch it together, but I don't want you to watch it by yourself.
If that statement was made, I'd be like, this isn't going to work for me. But she would get, like, very physical with me to the point where, like, I was worried I'd have to defend myself, and I didn't want to do that. So what had happened was she came home, and she wanted to, like, argue, just, like, kind of, like, coming through the apartment, slam the door thing, like, hey, we're going to have a talk right now. And throws a purse on the counter. Like, you hear the anger and violence in her footsteps. So I basically went outside. We were on the second floor of the apartment buildings, and I slid down like the hand railings, not even hand railings, just like there's like the bar that is keeping you from falling off the ledge, and the bar has like, bars, obviously. I don't know, I'm not doing the best way of describing it, but anyway, I jumped over, I pulled the Jackie Chan, I like slid down, and then landed on the bars that were underneath on the like neighbor's patio, and then jumped down and ran to my car so I could avoid having an argument with her because all we did was argue. And I worked really close by at the time, too. So she'd just show up at my work to argue with me on my lunch break. Like, just really, like, psychotic, unhealthy stuff.
And you stayed.
Yeah.
Why?
Really good sex.
Okay.
Yeah. That's, like, legitimately, I mean, I did love her. We loved each other in our own way, but it was just a very unhealthy relationship where we were both mentally unstable and unmedicated. And, like, in our 20s, like, early 20s, not having the ability to communicate healthy. Like, if you have a problem with somebody in a relationship, the adult thing to do is say, hey, this is my issue, can we work on this? Not like walking in the door and punching the wall and like being a fucking miserable bastard.
I won't lie, sometimes I wish I could communicate like that still. Yeah. But like now my like my mental set is like, we're going to talk about it. We're going to ask questions.
Right.
We're going to get to the bottom of this before I make assumptions. But sometimes, I just want to be like, we're throwing down. All right.
I mean, yeah, whatever works.
I miss those days.
There's like a portion of it that's kind of good where you get like some anger out. But like the thing is like, so growing up in an Italian-Irish household, my mom's half Italian, half Irish. So like she's pretty angry all the time just by some heritage, right? And so we know how to argue and get over it like the same day. Like we'll argue to the point where we're like, fuck you, I hope you die, like I'm never talking to you again. And the next day we're like, not even the next day, like 2 hours later, I'm sorry I said all that stuff, are you okay? Yeah, like hug it out. But like other people didn't grow up that way, right? Not everybody. Yeah, so like you get in an argument with somebody and you say some vicious shit, that sticks with them. They don't get over it. And you could say stuff like, you know what, you're a fucking bitch, and like, you're just like your mom, and like all this vicious stuff that you don't even mean to say, and then you say it and you can't take it back, and that's their opinion of themselves in your eyes after that, and then you're just fucked. You fucked the relationship up. But if you kind of sit and talk and go, hey, this is how I'm feeling, like, you know, I need this in the relationship, right? I need this to be worked on here. From there, you can adapt and fix it. And if somebody's not willing to adapt with you and it's not going to work, then it's just not going to work. And the bad thing is when you're younger, you have like this fairy tale imagination of like, if I just do this, they have the potential to like mold to that. And what adulthood is when you're like in a relationship is just being you and finding someone that accepts everything for whatever reason. They accept it how it is. They don't want to fix it. And the things you do don't hurt them. And the things they do don't hurt you. And you're just like, you match well. You just got to find someone to match well with and that isn't full of shit. You know, like that's the key, I think.
And that's what I find is like, I am just who I am. Like, I'm never fake. Well, unless I have to be in order to do something. But I'm never fake. And people will just straight up lie to your face and just be like, oh yeah, I'm totally looking for a relationship. That's all I want in the whole world. And then you're like, hey, what are we doing after 3 months? And then they're like, this is a lot of pressure.
It's not ready.
It's so much pressure. That makes me sick when guys are like, it's so much pressure. It's like, what's pressure? I have my own life, my own money. I'm like, what are you feeling pressure about? I don't know. What is the answer? Someone told me. I don't understand. People, what, you don't want to plan a date? You don't want to plan a weekly date? Is that the problem?
Yeah, you don't want a little maintenance, it seems like.
Yeah, once a week would be great.
That's not high pressure.
Optimal. Like, that would be perfect for me. But guys can't even do that anymore. It's like, they want to keep you at arm's length so that there's no feelings. And I'm like, why? What are you so scared of with feelings? Feelings are good. We have them for a reason. It makes me sick. So if anyone's listening that can maybe not do this shit, that'd be great.
That'd be good. So here's what I did with my girlfriend, right? So we were getting sushi. It was like our first technical date. Did
you ask her in advance?
Yeah.
Look at you.
So here's the majestic part. So what I did is I went on 3 half dates before the first date. So it was sneaky, but it was
What do you mean a half date?
So like,
and is 3 is a third date, not a half. If we're doing that,
you get the point. Okay, so the first one was like I went dancing at a place I knew she was going to be with a friend that was a friend of hers. So this friend was friends with her. I met her once, and then he invited me out. I found out she was going to be there, so I went. Grant invited me. So then it's like I'm there out of an invitation, not as a stalker. And so we danced kind of close to each other, not like on each other, but close.
Like COVID close?
So basically we're doing our whole thing, and I drive her to her car afterwards. I don't try anything, I'm just polite. And then I hit her up on Facebook, hey, do you want to like go on a date? We plan the date out, and then before that, she was basically working on a date. It was a holiday, and I wasn't working. I brought her a sandwich on her lunch break that I got from Sprouts. So I ordered it in the morning, got it all taken care of, brought her the half sandwich, hung out with her in her car. And then on the third time we hung out was the actual date, and we got sushi. And
you're so Italian with these hands.
Oh yeah, right? Hey, right?
Took her on a date.
Hey, forget about it. No, but so we're like on the date and everything's just working. And that doesn't happen with me with relationships. It just doesn't. There's always like something I'm like very nitpicky, like Seinfeld almost, where it's like, oh, she eats her peas one at a time. I can't stand her.
Yeah.
Like that type of thing. And with her, it was just like everything was working. She was calm and pleasant to be around. She was polite to the wait staff. She let me pick up the tab. And
she let you pick up the tab.
Well, like sometimes women are like, no, let's get Dutch, or like, no, I got it. Or like they feel weird when you pay for them, right? Not always. Sometimes. And
I'm very fine with that.
Oh yeah, you're like,
great.
Just spoil me, whatever.
This hour was a waste of my time.
Yeah, I did my hair for this shit. Are you kidding me? You're not 6 feet tall. You're fucking 5'4".
Okay, stop. Height is not a thing.
Height is something? Okay.
Height is not a thing.
Cool.
People can't control that. I can control my height. You know, people have judged me.
Right.
And said, you're too tall. And I'm like, ugh, gross. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted.
That's okay.
We're back to the third date.
Third date, yeah. So we're getting the sushi, and I'm about to pick up the tab. And normally with sushi, I'm like, this is just rice and like uncooked fish. Why is it so expensive? Like in my head.
Because it's beautiful.
It's great. It's delicious. But like $50 for like something that doesn't even fill you up. You know, like you eat it, you're like half hour later, you're hungry again, right? So I do appreciate sushi. I do pay full price, and I don't throw a fit, obviously. But in my mind, I wasn't feeling that way when I was with her. I was like just glad I got to take her on a sushi date. And I was like, okay, I got to make this girl my girlfriend because like I'm sick of dating, and she's like,
you like her.
She's gonna get swooped up if I don't do anything about it. You know, she's a catch, and I need to swoop her up before. And I just said to her, so you're my girlfriend now. And she went, okay. And then like we made Facebook official that night. And we didn't like post. We didn't like post the thing about it, right? We didn't like do like should we like make it a bulletin, or is that just too much of a brag? She's like, yeah, we don't need to make like a post about it. We just need to change the status and have that be that. And we like just agree on things so well. And what it is
good communication.
Good communication, but also our upbringing. So like,
is she Italian?
She's not. She's Irish.
Oh, okay.
But her mom talks a lot, like a lot, and I talk a lot. And her mom is kind of loud. I'm pretty loud.
Yeah.
So it's like the things that other people can't put up with, she's accustomed to. She's accustomed to somebody trying to be funny all the time and laugh and like try to be loud. So she's used to being quiet and saying stuff when she feels like it. And she's funny. She's very smart. She has a degree in like crime scene investigation, forensics. Smart. She's got her shit together. Good credit, no drug addiction. You know, it's good. Like when you're dating a cokehead, you don't know if they're ever gonna like you ever date somebody on coke?
Yes.
They leave you for somebody else, and you're like, oh, that's their drug dealer. Okay, so I'm okay. It's not me. It's they're addicted to coke, and now they're with their drug dealer. Okay.
Do you believe when people say they do coke sometimes? Just every now and then.
The thing is
I don't
like,
think I believe it anymore.
Every now and then could be once a week, which is still a lot.
I agree. Yeah, I'm with you.
It's kind of like
my girlfriends and I talk about this like a deal breaker. Can't do it anymore. Used to be fine when we were in our 20s and like, oh, you're doing coke again. Like, okay, like I didn't realize how many people are actually doing coke all the time. But now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, oh no, Sorry, I guess I do have some like deal breakers.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty.
Height's not one of them.
Height's not one of them. Just don't do coke.
Just don't do cocaine and maybe make some plans.
Right. So, fellas.
Everyone's like, I'm never taking this.
Just the inbox can be like, hey, I'm 5'4". Hey. But I got plans.
Nothing wrong with that.
Cool.
Nothing wrong with that as long as they can make plans. Show me, you know, how to be a man, you know? Like, it's so pathetic these days.
All right. Well, it has been an hour of taping.
Okay.
And I feel like we've covered a lot, and there's footage to edit.
You think there's good, funny stuff in here?
Maybe, but like podcasts, I don't think are very good to begin with most of the time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, like podcasts are kind of like just background noise to do, listen to while you're at work to make your job a little less miserable, maybe.
Okay.
Right? Cool. High five.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, B.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for watching. Take care.